On YouTube.
On YouTube, yes.
Perfect.
So I can do something stupid in front of the camera now?
Already a lot of stupid things in front of the camera.
I never come here. No idea.
I can't really come here to change the places I study.
Excited. Yeah. Yes.
If Michael is ready, then we start. Also,
Let's wait like 5 minutes.
Maybe I think
People usually
A friend of mine here
spend Uber Eats
here, I think, and he has an office is my level, and that's a nice view. That's my next place for study.
So you can say there we can then next week we'll be somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, also with the library, there's so many like the big warning.
Do you go to Sweden or
Hoe is hij allemaal?
10 minutes. Everything ready and which one lecture there?
what class it is?
Well, I just started
Denk ik voor de week en al lang.
Yeah, I really like it. So, but it is like last week was just and I was very scared, but I don't know, excited.
I was working as dance teacher, and the first time we started.
But it's probably in the end, actually, everyone just does what you're saying, and I'm just saying to you as like the one who knows about it, so whatever you say, we're going to do it anyway. We don't really realize.
It's a bit motivating and everything's fine.
Yeah, and also because I did a lot of events myself, which I also enjoy. And then I started realizing when I did the perspective of like seeing the teachers, I was like, oh well, yeah, I actually also don't pay attention to you.
Oh boy.
I'm working my ass off. Yeah, and but I think the dancing is super important.
Yeah, it's a bit teacher focused.
Okay, man. And you guys have a group thing, huh?
And
Did you just text us?
yeah, all kinds, like the standard
What does it mean
ball
then? You got
thing where you have like balls and everything.
It's so weird, man.
But also like the Latin dances, salsa, and that stuff.
I really want to learn that, but I don't think I'm like I can dance it in a party or something.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That comes with the practice.
Yeah,
And then there's only one thing, like you cannot teach somebody and then just hearing the music.
Like guys who are sitting at one table, right? Without the things.
There are very few people.
20 on the live stream. Okay, that explains a lot.
Very few.
Yeah.
So
I wonder
we always
what
call
the
them
guidelines
and then board
I think it's 10 days.
Do you dance as well?
I did. I know.
20 on the live stream. Cool, so that's 34, 90, just the first one. And with a chance to get more. Yes. Maybe sounds good.
Oh, really? I'll take it. Oh.
Cameras.
I just decided to stop that.
Yeah. Okay.
From facing camera.
I hope my fly's not open.
There, yeah, you are.
Like in the Asheville, I reserve a whole.
Oh, nice.
All right, welcome guys. So we have 15 people here physically, and we got 20 people on the live stream. Welcome to this workshop on the blockchain technology, and cryptocurrencies. My name is From. I'm the chairman of BMore. BMOR is a student foundation that focuses on personal growth and development. This can be growth in the broadest sense of the word, whether it be financial growth, something we're talking about today, whether it be physical growth, fitness, health, whether it be spiritual growth, mindfulness, meditation. We really try to facilitate on all these different areas. And today we have a speaker, Mikel, who's actually my brother and a crypto cowboy enthusiast. And I think I'll just let him take over the baton. So, Mikel, good luck.
Thank you.
And enjoy.
Thank you for the beautiful introduction. Thank you all for being here. I think you're making a wise decision to either watch the live stream or show up today, because obviously we will, after this workshop, be sure how to make a crypto fortune, right? For today, what do we want to do? First, a bit about me. Then, as you all know, you filled out a questionnaire. So then I'll also tell you something about your peers, where they are and what you guys are all interested in. Then some, where did the blockchain come from? What is the blockchain? Why is there the blockchain? Some origin. Afterwards, some blockchain fundamentals. So how does it actually work? What does it actually do? And what can we do with it? And then before the break, also the next evolution of Bitcoin, so to speak, which I coined coins and contracts. And after this, some use cases. Then we'll do a small break. Just prior to the break and during the break, I'll also have a small assignment for you guys. So listen up and be prepared. After the break, more of the investment part of cryptocurrencies. Can I get in? Should I get in? How can I get in? How can I get in safely? And then we'll wrap it up with some industry cases. Should I, in general, and some questions. What I prefer is to do some sort of an interactive session. So if there are any questions and if you don't get something, if you want me to slow down, just raise your hand, speak up. I don't know if we have contact to the live stream, if people can ask questions there. No?
I don't see
Okay, so then it's up to you guys. It's your session, so make sure you get most of it. Who am I? Frank gave me a very small introduction. This is me. My name is Mikel Palokaj. I am 27 years old, and I am co-founder of the RNN blockchain company. It's very important for you. Why? Should you believe me, or why shouldn't you believe me? If you're wise, you should always doubt what I say. So do your own research to some extent. But regarding cryptocurrencies, I first got in contact with blockchain technologies in late 2014. So that's already almost 6 years ago. There is many people in the blockchain spheres who claim that they know a lot about blockchain, but who just got in for 1 or 2 years ago. And I hope, because we got in already at the beginning, that we have all made mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes, and I hope that I can prevent you guys from making the same mistakes. So what I did with the RNN blockchain company, together with a friend called Ulrich, about 3 years ago, just in the first hype cycle actually, then many people wanted to know, what is this blockchain? Can I do something with this blockchain? What should I do with the blockchain? And then in one-on-one conversations, I started explaining a bit about how it works and where it came from. It's fun to do it once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times. But then if every day 5 people come to you like, yo, explain how it works, then you start rethinking your strategy. So what we then first did was just rent, like here, a small room in the university. We invited open invite students to just swing by, and we tell more people what it was about, but it's just more efficient. Then this went very well. We did some paid events. People had to buy tickets. Not expensive, maybe €5, but we did want people to get invested to some extent. Then some companies picked that up, and we started doing workshops and informational sessions at companies. We hosted some meetups, and that's when the RNN blockchain company was born. About you guys, you all filled in this questionnaire, so you should be rather familiar with the questions. But how much do you already know about blockchain technology? I was very disappointed that nobody has shit on Satoshi Nakamoto, but hopefully you will at the end of the session, so don't worry. But as you can see, most of you are in the spectrum of I've read some stuff or absolutely nothing, which is very good. So I put the workshop in the mostly fundamental parts of what it is, and we won't go into technical details too much. What you want to know, everything actually. So we'll cover the whole shebang, but again, we won't go into technical details for too much. Anything else? You guys asked for some experience stories, so I'll try to blend in some of those. Blockchain in governance and international relations. I don't know if the person who pitched this question is here. Is he or she here? No? Okay, cool. And then about the cryptocurrencies, some more about the trusted platforms to invest in. What is a cryptocurrency as a currency? Can it be useful for third world countries, which is very interesting, I'll also get back to that. And some rookie mistakes. Final question, one of you had, is games as interface for Bitcoin. I don't know if any of you is familiar with this thing on the right, but it's a crypto kitten, and we will get back to that a little later. The nicest quote I got from the good grandchild is, I need to have a super simple explanation of what the cryptocurrency is, so I will be able to explain it even to my grandma. I'll try to give you this definition. And also, the girl or guy is looking to make some dough, so we'll also get to that a bit later. But first, rewind a little bit. Where are we coming from? Why is everything happening? I don't know if any of you have seen such a graph like this. But first, we were just a hunting society, grabbing some berries, killing some deer, just getting by, building some shelter. It's just what we did. And actually for quite a long time, until we had the agricultural revolution, which is when people started to settle. They started seeding their own potatoes, their own crops, maybe taking some cattle to get by. And then the first industrial revolution happened, which is when we first got some mechanical components. The second industrial revolution, which is mostly for the heavy industries. We started building cars, we started building factories. And then the third one was actually the IT revolution. So now we have smartphones, we are connected, we have social media. And if you pay attention to the time span, it is accelerating. I mean, from the hunter society to the society 2.0, 13,000 BC, then what is this? More than 13,000 years later, the first revolution, then only 2 centuries, then only 1 century, and we are still accelerating. Why? Also because this technology is also accelerating where we're going. And I'd like for you guys to start thinking a bit about the top there, Society 5.0. What does it mean? How will society look like in 5, 20, maybe 50 years? Incorporating all those technologies like AI, IoT, maybe blockchain. It's very interesting. We'll get into that in the end of the session. Because why should you care? I don't know. Let's see. The origin of finance, maybe, just for a bit. Maybe some of you are familiar with the Yap Island, probably not. But what they did is they had a currency, and the currency looks, as you can see, they're big stones with a hole, and they use this to track ownership. And they have very small rocks. You can just walk around and give somebody a rock. Hey, maybe we can get like 10 kilo potatoes for this small rock, and then you agree. But what if you want to buy somebody's house and you cannot pay with small rocks? They also own bigger rocks to represent more money. But it's not very practical to actually take the rock and transport it to your neighbor. So the entire monetary system, if you will, was a spoken language. We just remember, hey, this is my stone. Okay, cool. And then, hey, front. I buy your house. It's your stone. Okay, and then we all agree that it's front stone. It's primitive, but it worked. So why not? The next version, maybe the improved version, maybe not, I don't know, you can decide for yourself, was to actually write down who owned what. And this is quite easy, actually. You just write down that stone X belongs to Janne, and then if she transfers the stone to me, we can all write down, okay, so then Janne's stone now belongs to me. And this is actually like a central policy. There is one bookkeeper, if you will. For example, the Roman Empire, they had accountants, and they just wrote down what land belonged to whom, and what currency belongs to whom. The only thing is that you have to trust the person who does it. Maybe Cesar didn't like me, and he just crossed out my name and put all his belongings with him, and then I lost my belongings. How can I prove that they were my belongings? No. But the system of trusting someone worked, still works, I guess. We have all those countries, they have their own currency, their own stones, if you will, and somebody, aka the central bank, writes down what money belongs to who. And the system seems to work. We have financial prosperity, we're doing good, the living standards go up, we have less poverty. But then, around 2007, 2008, something happened, the financial crisis. Nobody saw it coming, the house bubble bursted, and we had some major financial crisis. And then, what do you do then? I mean, we all put our faith in a system, the system crashes. What do? One guy, there he is, Satoshi Nakamoto, who actually he isn't there because it's a pseudonym. We have no clue to date who Satoshi Nakamoto is, but he was fed up with the banks at least, and he proposed a paper for digital money. And what he said in his paper is, I've been working on a new electronic cash system that is fully peer-to-peer with no trusted third party. So what does this mean? It means that we still have this euro or this currency, if you will, but we don't have one person with the book. It's fully peer-to-peer. So we all track what happens. To put it in the book, for example, I don't own the book, but we all have the book, and during the entire day we collect some transactions. At the end of the day we get together, we write what all the other guys wrote, and then we agree. Do we all have the same here in the book? Yeah, okay, cool. Then we put a stamp and put loads of page. The biggest problem with digital money is the cut, copy, and paste. Because if we can all just add transactions, then how can you verify that one transaction is unique? Meaning, if I have a $10 bill, I can give it to you, I can only give it to you. But online, I can pretend that I sent the 10 euros to someone, but then in the meanwhile, I can also send it to someone else, or maybe even to 3 people. And this was the problem of the first digital currencies. And what Nakamoto did in his paper, he proposed a blockchain technology to solve exactly this problem. So how can I verify that a transaction is legit and that it isn't sent to multiple people at the same time? So, Bitcoin was invented. How does this work? I'm pretty sure you must be quite puzzled now, like how can I do this, how does it work? To make you even more puzzled, I have some definitions which if you start Googling blockchain, you'll probably encounter them. Maybe some of them look familiar. I mean, cloud computing, maybe familiar to someone, cloud computing. Yeah, cloud computing. But proof of work, consensus mechanism, distributed ledger. What is this and what does it mean? So, in 5 steps, how the blockchain works. First, we create a transaction or multiple transactions. Then from these transactions, we put them in a block, a page from a book, if you will. At the end of the day, all of us verify that everything written on this page of the book or in the block is legit. Then we hash it, which I'll come back to a bit later, and then the block is executed, meaning that we stamp it and we add it to our book. How would this work digitally? I expected to have a blackboard, so I wanted to write something down, which I can't, so I hope that it's clear if I just tell you, so please raise your hand if it isn't clear. What you first need to understand is what a hashing function is. Maybe it sounds a bit scary, it is not. You can see a hashing function as a black box, and I put something in, and something comes out. That's pretty much what a hashing function is. But the unique part of a hashing function is that for a unique input, I always get the same output, and every input yields a unique output. What I mean with this is, if I put the letter A in the black box, I will get, in the case of blockchain, 256 56 zeros or ones. If I put in the letter B, I'll get another pattern. And if every time I put in the letter A, I'll get the same output. And then it doesn't matter if I put in the letter A or the entire Pirates of the Caribbean movie, I always get this fixed output, which is unique to the input. Is that clear to everyone? Yes.
So if there's a transaction of, let's say, 10 euros, then for each number of that, so let's say the 1 and the 0, there's 265 letters.
I'll get to this. Yeah. I'll get to this. Hashing then is just transforming A to fixed output B, which is always unique. Then what we do in the case of Bitcoin, I think the block time is 5 to 10 minutes. I don't know by heart. But what we then do is for 10 minutes we collect transactions. And collecting transactions means everybody with access to the Bitcoin network can send money, can do a transaction. So for 10 minutes, I don't know, I send some money to Ruben, and Ruben sends some money to Fran, and just people are for 10 minutes making transactions. Then at the end of the 10 minutes, we say, stop, the block time is now finished. And what we then do, and that's maybe a bit answer to your question, we take two transactions and we hash them together into one output. Then we take two more, we also hash them to one output. We take two more, one, two more, one. And then in like a reverse triangle, we keep on hashing stuff together until there's only one hash left. We then take this hash and we call it the transaction hash. We add it to our block as input 1. Then as input 2, we put the timestamp of the block. When was it? I want to know when it was. Then we add some more info to the block. And then we add a puzzle. And this is really key to blockchain technology. The puzzle, nobody knows. It's a random input. But all of us get the chance to try and fix the puzzle. So what you then have is all of us have the same input. We all know the hash from all the transactions. We all know the timestamp. We all know the version protocol. But there's one variable missing. But we do know the output. And the output is a fixed number of zeros, for example, 100 times 0, and then something else. And this hashing algorithm, it keeps on trying. So you have 4 fixed inputs, and then for the 5th one, first you try the letter A, for example. Then you try the letter B, then you try the letter C, then you try the letter B, etc., 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 until you find the correct input for which the output is success. And this guessing, so to speak, takes up a lot of computational power. It is not an easy puzzle, and your computers will be consuming a lot of electricity to try and crack the puzzle. And this cracking the puzzle using computational power, that is what Bitcoin miners do. Maybe you've heard of miners. They are just computers, they consume a lot of electricity, and all they do is try to fix the puzzle. Why is this relevant? For the miners, if you manage to crack the puzzle as the first one, then 5 of the inputs are known. And I can broadcast to the network, I found a solution. Then the entire network can try my solution, and all of them will see that the solution was correct. Because for 5 inputs in the hash, you will always get the same output. This was the hashing function, right? So in the guessing process, all of us try until one of us succeeds. He says, Ben, I found it. I ask the entire network, is it correct? All of you will probably say yes, unless I'm lying. And if I'm lying, you will find out that I'm lying, so you'll reject my solution. It's one of the safety mechanisms of the network. But if you agree, Mikel found the correct solution, I get the Bitcoin from the block, which is nice, because Bitcoin are worth money, right? And yes?
Could you explain one more time how everything gets folded into one block, and then why the puzzle? Why is it so many zeros?
Sure. So each block, it doesn't actually contain a lot of information. It contains what protocol are you running? Is it Windows? Is it Mac? Is it Linux? Like, are we doing the same thing? It contains the timestamp. When was the stamp? It contains the hash, so the solution from the previous block. And then it contains all the transactions hashed into one output and a puzzle. And a puzzle just means one more random variable which you have to add to try and get the correct output. And the correct output is statistics. If you try to imagine 0, 0, 0, just 3 zeros, or 1, 1, 1. So there's 3 places with 2 digits. Then the number of options are 1, 2, 3 to the power of 2, 3 times 3, the other way around, sorry, 2 to the power of 3, is 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8 possible solutions. Then if I say the answer is correct when you start with 1, 0, then the solution, probably when you start guessing, first you'll get maybe 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and then you hit 0, 1, 1. This is a correct solution. And then you can tell all of us, correct. This is very easy. But imagine you have 265 zeros and ones, and the first 100 digits have to be a 0. And after that, it doesn't matter. The chances of this happening are that first you have 2 to the power of 100 guesses until you hit the first correct answer. And how exactly the hashing algorithm works, you don't know. So if you have an input, you cannot predict the output without actually running it through the hash, and this is security. So the difficulty of the output is what determines how difficult the network currently is to work on. And when Bitcoin first came about, for example, 50 first needed to be 0, then the 51st had to be 1. Then 5 years later, 51 first had to be 0. 5 years later, 52 first had to be 0. And that sounds like a very small difference, but the difference actually is 2 to the 50, so 2 to the power of 50, or 2 to the power of 51, which means double of the previous number of outputs. So you also touched upon a new point here for Bitcoin. The supply is definite. So what does this mean? All the way when Satoshi, or not actually Satoshi, but when the blockchain was launched, you started at block 0. It's called Genesis block. No transactions there, just the first block was mined, probably by just one computer trying it. He got 50 Bitcoin for the first one. Catching that, what's the price now? Maybe 15,000 euros, so 600,000 euros for cracking one solution in 10 minutes on your own. It's a good visit, right? But that's a long time ago. Then the blocks kept on progressing, and we call it a halvening. I think every 2.5 years, maybe every 5 years, I don't know. And this keeps on happening, and every time the difficulty increases by 2, by making sure that the output requires one more 0 instead of 1, the rewards are also slashed in half. So first 50 Bitcoins per block, then 25, then 12.5, then 7, 75, then etc., until there are no more new Bitcoin being mined and the supply is fixed. Yes?
So this is the alternative of having someone such as a bank looking at the book and say, this is what is actually the status quo.
Yes. Yes. So blockchain,
all this like puzzling and like trying to solve it is the only way to keep the system safe for everyone who is in this network.
It is a solution to keep them safe. The first solution, the proof of work protocol, it's called, and it's called proof of work because all the people who are guessing, they are putting in work, computational work, and we know that it's secure because all of us kept on trying, and we can see how many people were trying. And if all of us are guessing, then one of us gets it correct. We all check it, so we don't have to trust someone. We can trust in the protocol, so to speak. this proof of work. There's also voting-based and some other types of consensus mechanisms, which is what you call it, but I don't think we'll touch upon it today. What is important to know though, for Bitcoin, because the supply is fixed, there is a definitive amount, just like with gold, actually. When the gold, there's only so much gold on the planet, so people give value to it because they know there's a certain scarcity. I mean, if I gave you a kilo of gold, could you do something with it? No, right? I mean, you can make it into a jewel, or you can maybe in the semiconductor industry do a bit with it, but it will never represent the kilo value which it is. It is just because we, as human beings, gave value to gold because it is scarce. And Bitcoin can be considered the digital gold because actually it has all the same properties as gold. It is finite, it is difficult to get, and if there are some group of people who start to attach value to this, sometime in history, someone said, okay, gold is scarce, let's go. Let's give it an intense amount of value. Just like the rice stones on Island Yap. They were finite, and gold is also finite, and Bitcoin is also finite. The nice thing about Bitcoin though is that you can easily transfer it digitally. I mean, if you have gold and I need to chunk off a small grain of gold and give it to someone, it's not very convenient. And in the case of Bitcoin, you can just transfer it online. Yes?
But why is there one amount of Bitcoin? Why? Because it's online, you can just add a number, right?
So the protocol of Bitcoin, so to say, has one block every 10 minutes or 5 minutes. And when the new block is added to the blockchain, then additional Bitcoins are given to the guy who solved the puzzle, so the miner. And for the rest, nobody can just create Bitcoin out of thin air. I mean, you can try. If I don't have any Bitcoins in my wallet and I broadcast a transaction saying I transfer 1 Bitcoin to you, and the network checks it, they see there was no Bitcoin in my account, so it will get rejected. So the only Bitcoin generation comes from the block reward every block given to the miner. And that's why the supply is fixed.
So the network checks every single transaction. It just like look at every transaction, and everyone that's like fake, they just throw it out.
Yes. That's also a very nice point that you touched upon. It is very slow, right? It's not actually very handy. Why would the entire network have to check each and every transaction? Why would we? It doesn't sound very efficient, and it is not. Bitcoin is not efficient. It consumes a tremendous amount of energy because the only way to secure this network is through guessing with your computer. So it's not actually very efficient. And that's maybe also a bit of an answer to Manuel's question. Bitcoin as a currency, I don't know. Bitcoin as a store of value, so the digital gold, yes, very nice narrative. But as a means for just transacting, giving money to each other the entire time, the Bitcoin network is not very efficient because everyone has to verify everything. Cool. That was a lot of information to take in, I think. Are there any more questions before I move on? Yes.
It's a very fundamental thing here with the blockchain. How does this apply to me? You say, I own Bitcoin, I have some Bitcoin in my wallet, and I want to use it as a store of value, or I want to use this. When does this come into play for me? Do I actually have to crack the code? Do I have to partake in this? And do I lose something if the code gets cracked?
Yes, excellent question.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. I'll summarize it a bit. So the question was, correct me if I'm wrong, what does this mean for me? Let's say I have 1 Bitcoin on my wallet. Do I also have to keep on validating all the transactions in the network like all these miners do? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yes and no. you can, if you want, you can decide to become a miner, and then you install the entire blockchain on your computer, which again is not very efficient, but if you want to be a miner and validate the transactions, you need the entire record from block 0 to the block where we are now. You can decide to do that if you want. So you can install a blockchain wallet, synchronize the entire blockchain, and you can start mining. You could. But you don't have to, because your Bitcoin, or maybe your partial Bitcoin, it doesn't have to be a full one. You can also buy 0.000001 Bitcoin, for example. It is stored in the ledger. And what I mean by it is stored in the ledger is you have a wallet, which is just an address, like a bank account. And if you buy the Bitcoin, maybe from an exchange or a friend sends it to you, you create an interface to the blockchain. You could do it in a wallet, but you can also use other people, actually, like other miners, to just enter the network bit, and then you say, okay, I'm new, I'm creating this wallet, it's called my wallet, and then I step out again. And from the moment you create this address, this bank account, if you will, all the other miners will verify your account the entire time. They will look at your account and say, oh, the wallet's still there, oh, that's the wallet's still there. And if I then send some Bitcoin to your address, to your bank account, the miners, they validate, did Mikel have the Bitcoin? Yes. Did he send the Bitcoin? Yes. Was the Bitcoin received? Yes. Okay. And then it is registered on your name. But your bank account doesn't have to mine anything. No.
So the blockchain is really just about the transaction between bank accounts.
Yes. It's very nice that you make this incredible bridge for me to the next topic.
You're welcome.
Because what I explained to you now is a blockchain, namely the Bitcoin blockchain. And the Bitcoin blockchain can do two things. It can store your Bitcoin and it can transact your Bitcoin. And for the rest, it doesn't do a whole much. I mean, yeah, okay, it consumes a lot of electricity, but for the rest, it doesn't do that much. Then, I forgot the year.
2014, I think.
2014, maybe. Some new wizard. We do know who it is. His name is Vitalik. This is what he looked like at the time. He was also thinking about Bitcoin and decided that maybe there was something more to this blockchain technology. Because only transacting, or actually only sending money, I mean, it's nice, and being able to store money and send money without banks, it's quite appealing, right? Sounds good. I mean, for example, in India, the government decided sometime that certain banknotes, they just weren't valid anymore. Like, you have a lot of money in my wallet, damn, I'm rich today, and then the government says, okay, you know what, guys, we're not using five euro bills anymore, they're not valid, period. Is there anything you can do about it? No? Your money just became worthless, like pen, like this. And somebody, in this case the government, decided to do this. In the case of Bitcoin, nobody can decide to do this unless we all agree, let's do it. But if we all agree, we all lose our money. So that doesn't sound like a good incentive, so the chances of this happening aren't very big. What he proposed is to build an additional layer on the blockchain, so to speak, with smart contracts. And what are smart contracts? They're actually also the concept is not very difficult, but what a smart contract is a piece of code stating what the contract does. So for example here, if client money was in account for 1 year, so in the case of blockchain on the wallet, then make transfer from the bank reserves to the client account. How much? 3% of the client account. This is interest on your bank. And everything it takes for a bank to give you interest actually is this formula. It's not that complicated. So why should there be somebody wiring the money to your account if this upholds? I mean, why? So then what a smart contract is, it is exactly this piece of code, but it will trigger automatically. So you don't have to manually interfere anymore. in this case, if I broadcast this to the Ethereum blockchain, I'd be quite stupid because I'd be paying everybody interest, but let's say I do it. And at the end of the year, you had your Bitcoin or your Ethereum in your wallet, then automatically from my account, I transfer the interest to you. And it sounds quite simple, and you might think like, well, all sorts of pieces of code exist, right? Why is this new? Well, it is new because the smart contracts on the blockchain, once they're broadcasted, they are there, and they cannot be changed. So it is very fair, so to speak, and you cannot cheat. Who knows these guys? The Western Unions. It is a service to transfer money. Let's say I have some relative living in Africa, and maybe he or she doesn't earn a whole lot of money, and I want to send some money there. What I can then do is walk to the office of Western Union, give them 100 euros, say, send this to my cousin in Botswana. He lives there, so do it. And then, okay, they take the money and they put this in their computer, like, oh, Mikel wants to transfer money to his cousin, this is the name of the cousin, and he can pick it up there. Then my cousin can walk to the Western Union there in Africa, and he can say, okay, Mikel sent me some money, and then they'll give him the money. But they take a commission. And the commission in Western Union is quite high. I think if you want to send cash like this to Africa, maybe it's 5 or 10%. It's quite a lot of money. It's my 100 euros, I want to give it to my cousin, and then when I send it, he only gets 90 euros. But the operation is quite simple, right? I mean, there's just one guy sitting there at Western Union typing this in the computer, and that's it. They have an office, that's it. So regarding the question somebody asked about what can this mean for third world countries, it already exists, a digital Western Union, which is called Bitcoin. And I found this on the internet, I think last week or something, that the monthly cryptocurrency transfers to and from Africa under $1,000, so let's call them small transactions, shot up by 55% over the past year, reaching a peak of 316 million in June. I don't think it's very little money, 316 or 316 million in just 1 month. I mean, if you take that for 1 year, it's more than $3 billion. And if you extrapolate the growth, even more. So, can this mean something for third world countries? Yes, they can be connected to countries outside the world. And also, they don't need a bank. Sometimes there is no banks there, or the banks are corrupt, or they can't be trusted. And with this Bitcoin network, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can go online, you can open your wallet, and relatives can send you Bitcoin, aka money. And nobody can interfere. Nobody takes commissions, nobody makes life unfair. You just receive the money. And if I send my 100 euros to Africa, then my cousin will receive 99 euros 50 because I pay small fee to miners, but that's okay.
But they can't pay like in the supermarket or something with Bitcoin, right?
Yes, there comes the secondary question, challenge, problem, however you want to phrase it. What happens now is there's local people in Africa who are just buying back the Bitcoin. So there's people there sitting there with the table, and you can go there and you can change your Bitcoin for money. Naturally, just like Western Union, they will take a fee. So this is how it always goes, but it is evolving. There's shops where you can pay with Bitcoin, and you can also make arrangements. Let's say, because apparently people in Africa, they also believe in the Bitcoin. They trust it as money, just like I trust dollars as money. And if I want to have my house built in Africa, and the builders come, then I can tell them, okay, you can build my house, but I will pay you in Bitcoin. Is that okay? And then if the other guy says, yeah, sure, I also accept Bitcoin, I know that it's money, then we don't need the bank, and I can just directly pay with Bitcoin. So it is a process, yes, of course. And to get change digital currency, so Bitcoin, into fiat currency, like euros or dollars, you need either somebody willing to buy it from you directly, or you still need an exchange and a bank. What an exchange is, we'll get to that a bit later. Yes?
In your opinion, can cryptocurrency completely replace fiat currency?
Oh, it was further than I thought, sorry. I thought some clicks, but okay. What do you think? What do you think?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because if like, let's take an example right now, cryptocurrency completely replaced fiat currency, the whole financial system in the world will collapse, right? And the banking system as well. So nobody can take loan. And as we know, cryptocurrency has some deflationary. So cryptocurrency got some deflation, right? Because the value is increasing because of this scarcity. So we can say that it's deflationary, and it's also not good for the economy, because if the cryptocurrency is the only currency that we have right now, and it is deflationary, then everyone will save cryptocurrency, will save in currency instead of investing their money in other things like stocks or real estate, those things, right? And the whole economy will collapse because nobody wants to spend their cryptocurrency, they just save it, right?
Yeah.
That's why I think cryptocurrency can't replace the fiat currency.
Yeah. Very excellent, very nice reasoning. It's a bit long to rehearse it for the live stream, so I'll just answer the question right away. If you look at this picture here, you see some currencies, right? I mean, you see the dollar, you see the euro, you see many currencies. And back in the days, for the dollars at least, they were based on gold. So if you have a piece of gold, it's worth a number of dollars, and the dollar value was pegged to the gold value. This is how it originated. Like, why would we move all the gold, just like the rice stones? Instead of writing it in a book, we can just make money. Let's call it the dollar. Then, at some point, the dollar got detached from gold, meaning there is no collateral for the US dollar right now. There's no place to go where you can directly exchange your dollars for the underlying collateral, which used to be gold. Meaning, dollar is nothing. We invented dollar, but actually it is nothing. It is just a agreement between us that, this is the dollar and we give value to it. Then many currencies in the world are pegged to the dollar. So what does this mean? For example, the euro, we say a euro is worth $1.15, for example. But also the euro is nothing. If everything collapses, if the whole world goes to shit, there's nowhere where you can go with your euro, because there is no house or gold or something which is there for every euro printed. And for Bitcoin, this is just like gold. And when we invented dollars pegged to gold, right now we can just trade the gold. And the gold can be divided in very small pieces. So can cryptocurrencies replace fiat currencies? I see no reason why they can't. And your reasoning is very legit, that you say, okay, but the Bitcoin price will then probably keep on rising because it's deflationary, meaning there will be less Bitcoin and more people wanting it, so the price of Bitcoin will go up. And it's true. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Bitcoin will go up to shit. Nobody knows. It's a huge prediction. But what we can do is divide the Bitcoin in smaller pieces. And for example, Tether, I don't know if you know Tether, it's also a digital currency. And Tether says for every dollar you send me, I make one digital dollar, which is called Tether. And then you can trade like they are dollars. but they are actually not dollars. But there's collateral, and most cryptocurrencies are now also pegged to Bitcoin. So if we say how much is one Monero worth, you could say it's worth 0.005 BTC, meaning around 300 euros. And you can trade the currencies directly, or you can exchange them for Bitcoin. And if we look at this picture here, there's many currencies, but some people say that the dollar is the global currency, because many currencies want to be pegged to the dollar, because this has been stable for a long time, and people think it will keep on being like that. Then again, China is also looking to have their currency be the main currency. So, should there be one cryptocurrency? That is the answer to your question. Bitcoin can be Bitcoin, can be gold, can be kept in banks for an appreciating value, but countries can just make their own digital currency. You and I, we can make our own digital currency if you want. Let's call it the Be More coin, right? Why not? We just make the protocol, and if we all agree, yo guys, one Be More currency should be like €1, okay? Yeah, okay, cool. sounds legit. And then we have created Bitcoin currency money, but the Be More board, they are of course going to make those coins. You know, we have the money machine now, guys. We have the money machine, but we won't agree. So let's say there's 10 Be More coins worth €1, and they print one more. We'll say fine, but now all the coins are worth 90 cents because we put in €10 with all of us, and you guys didn't put in the extra money, the extra euro. So that's it for the question. I hope it satisfies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. A bit quicker now. Yes, one more use case, which might be very nice to illustrate what you can also do with the blockchain. This here is a paper from the Kadaster, and it states that this house or this piece of land actually belongs to someone. And in the Western, or in the developed world, I should say, you can assume that if your land is yours, people will accept that it's yours. But in the case of a war, what would happen then? Let's say the municipality has a book written there, like this land belongs to A, this land belongs to person B. But then a dictator invades the country, takes the book, puts it on fire, says, okay, it's my land now. And then we are under the reign of this dictator for maybe 20 years, and then some freedom fighters come over, and then we have to redecide whose land belongs to who. How would you do this? What you could do, using blockchain technology, is in every block, instead of adding just the transactions from the Bitcoin, you can also attach a log, for example, of the land. And then, if we put it on the blockchain, it's there forever. People cannot change the blockchain. So even if this dictator invades the country, burns the book, it claims all the land, there are still a lot of miners on this network validating what actually happened, the real blockchain, so to speak, the real history. And then when the dictator moves out again, we still have this nice book, actually, but then in the form of digital blocks, with all the information that we need. You could also use this for diplomas, for example. If I get my swimming diploma, maybe I don't have it yet, I don't know, and then I can attach this to the blockchain and say, bam, today's the day I got my diploma. And then forever, people can check this. Then if I go and for a job offering, maybe to be a lifeguard, and I say, I have my swimming diplomas, and they say, can you prove it? I don't know, I lost a paper, but it is there on the blockchain. And when I got it, the swimming teacher, he verified, I got it. So then it will be there forever. Speaks to the imagination, right? Nice. One more use case, insurance companies. I mean, they're making a lot of money, at least the management make quite a lot of money. But what if all of us decide, you know what, we can take care of each other. So why not make an insurance company together? But instead of appointing a board and a chairman and someone for finance, we just make a smart contract. And we write something like, if insurance claim is made because I wrecked my car, something happened. If user did not contribute, so if I did not pay my fee, I'm not getting any money back. If costs are under deductible, so maybe it is only €5 and it has to be at least €50 according to our agreement, we don't do it. If the group approves, so all of us, we have to vote, and we can look at the claim, say, okay, so Mikel crashed his car, and this is what we agree upon, so all of us agree. Then, from our joint bank accounts, I get my money. And this is a very small example of what we call a decentralized autonomous organization, because none of us is in charge, none of us is the boss. We are all the boss, but actually this contract, this program which we deployed to the blockchain, that one is actually the organization, so to speak. And everything that we put in this organization, that is just what's happening. And we don't need somebody to verify if it happens, when it happens, or make some new rules, because this is our organization. It's all we need. Cool. I think it's time for a break. What I want you to do in the break is to maybe get together in some small groups and digest what you guys just heard, and if possible, try to think of one use case which I did not present, of how you think blockchain could be applied, might be applied. And if you cannot think of something, think of an industry where you want me to give you an example. Maybe if you work at Tremor and you want blockchain to be used in the fitness industry, I don't know why, but maybe you really want that, then I'll try to think of how it might impact the industry. Are there any questions for this small quiz, small break, I should say? Okay, cool. Let's take 5 or 10 minutes, just walk around a bit, just chill, and then we'll get back to it.
Can you type that in chat?
Yes, I'm also fine, but
Maybe you can ask Michael if you can. Micah, can you text that in chat?
Can I?
Like,
sure. What we do?
I'll be putting on the light.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you want to say? And I'll write it down.
Can they speak back?
Well, we mentioned around Malta, so we have to do some, but they can speak back.
So ask them if they can think of an example, industry specific, how blockchain could be used. And if they can't think of, for example, they can think of an industry where they would like to hear me think of an example of how it might be used. So if it is interesting for that industry, yes.
Alright, shall we make a use case?
Can we?
Yes. Is it okay?
That's fine.
I think the live stream should be better now.
Yeah, it only happens on the yellow side, not like
Do you want me to turn on like the LEDs on these sides as well?
no, it should be. You will be on screen.
Yes, I.
Okay. More to he doesn't walk around that at all. So I managed to play
And then the moment given away.
yeah, so I moved this guy.
Switch out.
Could you move this a bit that way so that we can still see whatever is happening to the wall there?
That's more people lose the
Should be enough. You should be mute.
yeah, but then they get money from that. So instead of getting new Bitcoin, we have existing Bitcoin. We just pay we pay all of the gas. We give it to the network, and the winning miner then gets that. The process of the
I can also handle the live stream.
I can do that all.
And the thing is, I think a bit only becomes latest, but you have one with this 10 minutes. If, let's say, first three minutes are mine, it's 10 minutes. But then 10 minutes are mine. One block is like quicker because it's also the network that makes it more difficult. So it always takes about hours. The same, it always takes about 10 minutes. So let's say, for example, at one point in the future, then it might become less interesting. Less people will into the market, which makes it also easier. With less energy, making the reward relatively high. If that makes sense.
Make an interest rate.
A couple. But I wasn't be wrong side because you checked. What do you think?
You can walk around still.
Yeah, but I didn't want to disturb.
I thought I had like road like I had
So I totally. Come again?
Yeah, so I hold that. This is when I like all the time.
I have no food in my house and no intent food. What kind of frozen food do you have?
It's the second most expensive, biggest market, yes.
I mean, if you want me.
So this is great for you.
Your house is at this moment better than me being terrorized in my own. And it's not even. So I think because I don't have a problem with the mistakes because I totally valid the way
What's storage value?
Yeah, like code. So it's
yeah, because we're communications linguistics.
Makes sense. Yeah.
They do a aggressive shield or whatever.
Yeah, it's very. I want to get something creative.
Yeah, okay. Then I do there's like yes, this will be on their
Then you go through all the ladies on the food there, dogs. They just change the book.
Like a little always
Then you can also put it in the blockchain. Nice. And then everybody who gets it gets to see then it takes change that direction. Or let's say Lupin is actually not a secure trade, but he's like semi-secure. So you said that big. Yes, I got your 9 bigs, for sure. Right, whoa, it's like attempting. Then it's in the blockchain. Nobody can change This is a big issue for blockchain applications. As long as there's still real world inputs on those into the blockchain, you can still you can just lie out as it is.
Then of course you prepare some questions. How far are you? I have to get a meeting with my supervisor, and I have to sit down and say, hey, I have these ideas. What should I pick? I mean, talking about someone like that was maybe see like how can I respond?
If let's say tomorrow at 6 billion humans all decide that Bitcoin,
I don't know how to implement this. Like, write a report on what's out there, what's your aim there.
is maybe something for charities.
I need to sit down and have a very nice
Only people that come to your door and then donate money, and then they stick it on subscription, it's hard to get rid of it, all that stuff. Maybe we can make like a blockchain application where you say, I just sign up 6 months for donating, like talk with her afterwards.
Yeah, that's original then.
Exactly, you don't have to trust the charity.
I do have to say, in the beginning, like, that's also why I was the brokerage. I had to kind of switch that.
But I think like most applications are doing smart which is why you get
validation as like that makes all the sense. What did you study?
What I studied? I did science business education. I'm currently doing a master's here in
Maybe you should do this all next time.
That's to have your identity that's going to go in your form, your country just issues your
Nice.
and everything that throughout your life you have an idea for or you do the broadcast on the blockchain.
Yeah, really need to buy
Paper number.
Like putting money together for one cause or
Yeah, but you can have this like more complicated because the blockchain but not this is what you so like cryptography is a blockchain so everyone can see the information you can choose
that like get from
I would give you the bar.
It says for me
Have you seen
yeah, I would say about information
Het is ook geweest dat ik gewoon dat je zelf een whiteboard hebt of zo. Ik dacht, ik ga niet weet door je zinnen heen te twisten. Dit
it's just like right now, you don't have to show everything can be only watching. I can choose which card shows me. I give you a key to actually look at to see that card. It's like, okay, here's the key. You can open the box to the inside.
and then you can also do third party that says
So you're gonna be crypto. You're gonna be crypto.
Yeah.
You. Let's continue.
Yeah.
We leave the lights on? Yeah? So, I hope you had a break and you took a small walk and are refreshed. Because now, all of you, have thought of a nice use case. And I have a small challenge, actually, for you guys. If one of you has the balls to step up and pitch their idea, and if the rest agrees that it's a good idea, then I will reward you with some cryptocurrency. Sounds like a plan? Yeah? You are not allowed. For the rest, does anyone dare to pitch his or their idea? Yes?
Yeah. I'll stand.
Yes.
There, yeah?
Yes, for the live stream.
It's not a really thought out idea yet. Just a couple of words. Crowdfunding through cryptocurrency was the idea. As an implication. We didn't have the time to go into details yet. So.
Why would you think this is good or cool?
I think crowdfunding in general is quite a new, it's become much easier now with all the technology at hand. And I figure Bitcoin could be an ideal way of doing this. I haven't thought through the details yet, though.
That's okay. We had short. I mean, this is a 10-minute ideation process with a killer pitch, right?
Thanks.
Do we like this pitch? Should we reward it with money, digital money?
I want to see another pitch.
You want to see another pitch? And then have them compare? Okay, cool. Yes? Thank you, by the way. Thank you.
Of course.
Oh, Manuel.
I want to believe that you meant it. My idea is basically to replace all the contracts that are basically signed by a notaris, so like a notary. For instance, when starting a company, that is usually very expensive, and you don't want those costs anymore because those people basically like charge, I don't know, 500 euros for the smallest piece of signature. And why not just replace that by a decentralized system where everyone just agrees upon it and say, this is it, and we don't need a third party involved like a notary that just charges a lot.
Nice.
My pitch.
So now we have a terrible thing to do. We have to pick one winner. Were you a one-man team, Manuel?
Sorry?
Were you a one-man team?
If I am a one-man team?
Yes. Or did you make this idea with multiple people?
Well, it was originated by her idea, actually. So I would actually share my crypto.
Okay. Too bad. If it was just you, I would have rewarded all three of you. But now it's 4, which is too much. So we have to pick one more.
Why being so generous?
So who should it be? Who should it be? How will you decide?
I think he had some more details in his plan. I just had one.
Very noble.
No.
Very noble. Then we have a winner. The nice thing here is though, I think that you guys paid good attention. Because if you dissect this idea a bit and leave out some details, then what you both say is screw the middleman, right? Why do we need it? Why would I need a bank to provide a loan to startup crowdfunding? Why can't I just directly give my money to the company or the people I like? And what you also say is, why is there a notary? I mean, if there's some format to start a company and I sign it, then why should there be somebody checking this and authorizing this? And this power to the people mentality is a very strong driver in the cryptocurrency and the blockchain industry. So you'll do well. Yes.
We actually had a question. Was it like the intention of the group or the person inventing Bitcoin to replace the current currency, like euro, dollar, and everything? Was that the background idea?
Yeah. So if you want, you can read the white paper from Satoshi Nakamoto, but it's very, very dry.
I hope you just
Yeah,
can't.
and he came from the digital money movement, so to speak, and he did not like the banks, especially after the financial crisis. So he was looking for a way, maybe not to fully replace, but at least give a way for people to avoid banks but still use money. And we haven't heard of Satoshi Nakamoto since, so we don't know if he actually likes this, yes or no. But I think that it became bigger than he might have ever imagined in his head. We don't know. I don't know, we don't know. No, sorry. Cool. I will share these slides as well. There's some research, some resources here if you want to get into learning more. There's some courses on edX and Coursera, for example. And I highly recommend also this podcast, Unchained. It's very nice. She is an interviewer which has been doing this for I think 5 years now. She has over 200 episodes, and they're really good. So yeah, if you like podcasts, use Unchained. Then, as promised, after the break, something about the personal financial investing side of cryptocurrencies. Because as pretty and as beautiful as the technology is, there's a lot of people in there also just to make money. I mean, it's a very, very viable investment option, and if you are investing or looking to invest, it is a very good option. For some terminology, HODL is actually a random guy on a forum. They were talking about whether to hold the Bitcoin or to sell the Bitcoin, and I don't know why the guy was in a hurry or in a rush, and in caps lock he said HODL instead of hold, and now it became a big internet meme. So HODL is a term for just doing nothing and holding your Bitcoin really tight. There's people with shirts like HODL and shit. I have one, it's very nice. And there's Bitcoin and cryptocurrency trading. And that is actually just like traditional speculation. You can either buy stock in Tesla, or you can buy a Litecoin or an Ethereum or a Bitcoin or an exchange. The process is actually the same. Regular stocks are traded on regulated exchanges. Cryptocurrencies are traded on cryptocurrency exchanges. Then there it is, ICOs. ICOs are initial coin offerings, which is something like, let's say I start a company. Oh no, we already did an ICO together, guys. The Be More ICO. We agreed that we were going to make 10 Be More coins, and we also agreed that they were going to be €1 each. So Be More Foundation, they did their ICO. They offered their coins for the first time for €1, and we bought them. And this is actually the way, or this is a way to raise money as a startup using cryptocurrency. Then, maybe yes, you can see this. This is how startup funding works, and normally, so to speak. What you do, you have this idea, a brilliant idea, a good idea, a new idea. Let's make crowdfunding, or let's make some kind of contract that doesn't need notaries. Then you get some money from friends, families, fools, some random people, maybe €10,000 to write a business plan, and cool, you like it. Then the idea took off. I mean, you're onto something. It works, and people are telling you, yeah, you should go chase this. So you need some money, you need a team. Mostly, then your company would be valued at about $1 million, and you raise €200,000 because you want to, for at least 1 year, really try to gain some traction on this idea and try seeing if it works. It worked. Nice. Now, bam, you're at 4 million valuation. You're going. You're all the notaries are gone, and you have many clients using your software, so you need more money again to grow. Then you raise maybe $2 million. So essentially you're giving away 1/3 of the company for a lot of money. Still you grow, you go international, and this is the corporate phase. You are valued at 2.6 billion, you're sitting in a big office, and you're doing an IPO. So on the previous slide, we saw an ICO, initial coin offering. The first time a startup, blockchain startup, issues some sort of coin. An IPO is what happens in quote-unquote real life, which is an initial public offering, meaning the company is big and they are going to a stock exchange. So, for example, Airbnb, they're doing an IPO soon, which means that they go to the New York Stock Exchange. They say, okay, we're making new stocks for 33% of the company, and we're going to sell them to the public. The previous rounds, they were all closed, and now everybody can buy a piece of Airbnb. It's very nice. I mean, if you're growing and you need money, this is the way to do it. Also, in cryptocurrencies, you can also do this. And for example, these bastards of EOS, which is also a company, they did their ICO, and in their ICO they raised $4.5 billion, which is more than double of what a regular IPO does, which also maybe gives you a feeling of how cowboy, as Franz said, the industry used to be. I mean, why the hell would a company that doesn't exist try to raise $4.5 billion? And even weirder, why would they succeed? Why would people buy an idea for $4.5 billion? But it happened. It happened. Yes. First, disclaimer. I am not giving you any financial advice. Do your own research. I will give you some handles on how to handle yourself safely, and what to do and how to do. But if shit hits the fan, don't blame me. I am not liable for anything you're going to do. Next slide. I'm glad you're here, at least. And if you're already investing, good. If you plan to start investing, good. Why? What you see here is an exponential curve. And in finance or in euros, we usually call this compound interest, meaning that if I start investing now, somewhere around the age of 25, and I, for example, save, I don't know, what would it be, 1,000 euros per year. First, the curve is rather flat, but then you see that it starts going up. And why is it going up like this? It is because the 1,000 euros that I put in here, well, at the end of the year, if you have 10% interest, will be 1,100 euros, right? And the year after, I get 10%, not on my 1,000, but on my 1,100. And the year after, I get on my 1,300. So every year, you get more interest on what you invested historically. And this is quite profound effects. What you see here, for example, are the three curves. This started at 25, the blue one started at 35, red one, and then this light bluish starts saving at 40, but saving double of when you started at 25. And if you start at 40, so it's only 15 years, but in the end you will never be able to make as much money as when you started investing when you were 25. Manuel?
But to me this curve sounds more like a long-term investment rather than, let's say, Bitcoin, where you're like placing on one bet and then you see what happens.
Yes, this is investing long-term in general, indeed. So if you're planning to build a pension or start investing in I don't know what type, we'll get back to it, start early. That's the key message. And you are all not 40, I assume, so we're still in the good spectrum, which is good. Then, where, why, how, what, where can I invest? What can I invest in? How does it work? Why should I? I'll just walk through a number of investment options for the people who don't know yet. But first, no worries. Why? Especially in cryptocurrencies, it can go up, but it can go down, and it can go up big. It can go down big. I remember one day, I think maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago, in one day, our coin lost 80% of its value, 80. That is, today you have 1,000 euro, the next day you have 200. Everything's gone, evaporated, just gone. 2 weeks later it goes back to 1,000. This doesn't happen this shouldn't happen in regular markets, but the cryptocurrency is a bit more, not shady, but it is very volatile. So if you were planning to invest, belly of steel, and don't worry, it's the long term. It's the long term. So you have some pocket money, nice, you saved it, I don't know, maybe you stuffed it in your piglet here or on your cushion or just in the bank. Maybe your parents hold your money, I don't know. What can I do with it? You can put it there, you can save it in your piggy and then take a nice holiday to Bali or something when the corona is done. You can put it in the bank, it's safe, maybe you get some interest. Well, actually you used to get 1% quite some interest, maybe 3, 4, 5% a year. I think if you put it on the bank now, depending on the bank, somewhere between 0 and 1. And if you have too much money, actually they do negative interest now. Negative interest, I put my money at the ABN AMRO, and then they say, yeah, but you know, it's not going good with the economy, so actually if you have more than 200,000 euros, we will take something from it at the end of the year. It's our interest. But you're like, whoa, what the hell happened? I thought you were taking care of my money and giving me some interest because you are allowed to play with my money now. I don't know, it doesn't work like that anymore. Okay, cool. Then you can also go for the risky option, which might be stocks or cryptocurrencies or some other things. And some of the risky options, this is one graph of the stock market, are mutual funds. And mutual funds, what you're essentially then doing is I'm giving my money to a fund, a mutual fund, and the fund consists of a lot of shares. So for example, they are 10% Apple, 10% Uber, 10% Airbnb, etc., and instead of me buying all the shares and worrying about all the individual prices, I just put my money there. They invest in many stocks, and that's it. It's very nice. Good for the long term. But then, if you want to do it yourself, this might be some cowboy from Wall Street. I don't know this guy, but you can buy stocks, you can buy obligations, you can buy penny stocks, you can buy futures, you can go short, you can go long. So many things to do, and the tip there is if you want to go in there, either do your research really well before you go in, or, and that is not an investment advice, but if you're in it for the long run, maybe you just go for a mutual fund, right? You just put your money there, they invest for you, so you don't have to do it yourself. The last option, that's why we're here, of course, are cryptocurrencies. And we have talked about Bitcoin now. Maybe we also touched upon Ethereum. But let's see, if I can show you guys real quick. My Google Chrome wants to load. It's going. It's not going. Shit. Okay. Well, I guess then I won't show you. This website, which I try to go to now, coinmarketcap.com, is a very nice overview of pretty much all the cryptocurrencies which are currently out there. And on number 1, it is Bitcoin, of course, which is about 65% of the entire market cap. And a market cap of a coin means the number of coins times the price of the coins. So to be more example, there's 10 coins, they're worth $1, then the market cap of the be more coins is 10 times 1 is 10 euros. For Bitcoin it is somewhere 4 trillion or something, I don't know, it's big. Then the second one is Ethereum, then there's Litecoin, then there's Ripple, then there's all sorts of coins. And if you don't know a lot about cryptocurrencies, and you want to start investing, it's a bit overwhelming. I mean, there's over 1,000 coins which you can choose from, and then what should you do? I mean, it's the Wild West. And there also, the tip I want to provide to you mostly is if you want to invest in cryptocurrencies, just stick with the bigger, the safer options. Go for the Bitcoins, go for the Ethereums, go for the bigger coins. Don't go buy some shady, weird coin which you found on the 1000th page of CoinMarketCap because the name is nice. Because there's weird names. I mean, there's Pickle Swap. Pickle Swap. Who would name their company Pickle Swap? I don't know. What it does, they swap currencies. So the pickle, I don't know. Probably because there's another company which is called Sushi Swap, which was there before Pickle Swap. So it doesn't make sense. Anyway, if you are really convinced by yourself that you really want to buy some cryptocurrencies, please guys, be safe. Don't do anything stupid. If something looks too good to be true, it is too good to be true. If you in your email get some mail like John McAfee is giving away 10 free bitcoins, click here and enter your address. Come on. No, it's not gonna happen. You can laugh, but there's so many crypto scams been out there. I mean, I even fell for crypto scams as well. I invested in an exchange, which is for cryptocurrencies in India. I don't know, the money's gone. The money's gone. It seemed legit, everything seemed legit, but the money's gone. The guys, they just ran. You never know. You never know. So be safe. Be in the big ones.
What would be, I know that's a difficult question, but what would be an amount that you think makes sense to invest? Because I haven't been investing personally,
Yes.
but I think we can agree that with €1, it doesn't make sense to start investing.
Why not?
I don't know, I assume so.
Well, there's such a thing as transaction fees. If I transfer some money, then I have to pay a little fee. And if I pay more fee than I invest, I lose all my money. So if I have to pay 50 cents for a transaction and I invest 50 cents, it's gone. Maybe it's not a very wise thing to do. And to make it worth your while, don't start investing with €1. Maybe it's a bit too less. But just think, how much money do I have saved? How much do I have in my piggy bank? How much am I willing to invest? How much am I willing to lose? Because you never know what might happen. It is ultra high risk, Bitcoin. It might not seem that way, but it's very high risk. So somewhere with maybe €50, you can start investing with €50. It's fine. And then if you are a bit comfortable with what's happening on the exchanges, you feel like, okay, I want to invest a little bit more here, then maybe you go for 100, go for 200. I don't know what you can miss. But one of the FIS rules, so to speak, when investing, is that you invest your age in stocks, and 100 minus your age, so the remainder of what you are investing in bonds. And bonds are actually loans that you provide to a government. So they are safe. I mean, depending on the country, some countries maybe not too safe to do obligations. But for example, you can buy staatsobligaties, so obligations of the government in the Netherlands, and what they then say is, okay, so we need money, we need 10 trillion euros, I don't know how much they need, and then we'll refund you 2% interest after 10 years. That is essentially what a bond is. Yes.
Is it the reverse? Your age in bonds and the rest in stocks? As you're younger, you want to have more stocks, right?
Yes. Sorry. So it's the inverse. Yeah. Your age in bonds and the remainder in stocks. Why? Because stocks are high risk, and if you grow older, you're not really interested in making big gains anymore, right? I mean, if you're 80, you don't care about winning the jackpot. I mean, what are you going to do with the money anyway? But when you're young, you're hungry, you want to make more money, so maybe you want to take more risk.
From the live stream, someone asked what the website was that you just recommended.
Coinmarketcap.com. Yes. And then from this FIS rule, from the risky investments, which are the stocks, you only take a small amount for ultra high risk. For example, cryptocurrency or startup investing or whatever. And it depends per person, but I think 10% should be ultra high risk. So 10% from your 80%, in this case should be 10% of all the money you want to invest. Maybe try cryptocurrencies. So if you have saved 1,000 euros, it's all on the bank, you want to start investing, put 100 euros in some cryptocurrencies to try. Satisfied question?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so. Yeah, sorry guys, I messed up with the CoinMarketCap thing. There it is. If you decide to go into cryptocurrencies, this for the English people, Belastingdienst, it is the one thing you hate if you get the blue one, especially the guys from Bmore as well. I see they have many of you that are smiling already. This is the taxing office. So if you make money, you pay taxes. If you buy a house, you pay taxes. If you die, you even pay taxes. I don't know, you always end up paying taxes anyway in the Netherlands. Which also means if you're going to invest in cryptocurrencies, you have to tell the government that you're investing, and you have to also pay taxes of your cryptocurrencies. Now don't worry, in the Netherlands, if you own money or any other asset, it can be a house, it can be stocks, it can be bonds, it can be cryptocurrencies, it can also be money. If you have saved under somewhere around 20,000 euros, you don't pay anything. So it's not like you're losing a lot, but if you start to make some serious dough, then you have to really tell the guys, because otherwise you'll get fined. It's not like this is an exempt category, because they don't know that you have the cryptocurrencies. At the moment, there is no way for them to validate if you have them yes or no, but you'll be lying. It's never good to lie to the state. It will come around and bite you in the butt. Yes, I have declared my cryptocurrencies to the state. Yes. Then make sure that you are secure. So my puppy is cute 123 question mark is not a very good password. Yeah, it just isn't. Preferably use a password manager like Bitwarden or some other password manager, LastPass, to generate very difficult passwords which you cannot even remember, and then use that one when you are doing stuff with cryptocurrencies. Also, yeah, it's prone to hackers. Cool. Also use a VPN. Do people here know? Does anybody not know what a VPN is? Raise your hand. Don't be shy. Everybody knows what a VPN is. You don't know?
I know what it is. It's something to do with the country that you're in.
Yes, yes. So essentially what happens with a VPN is instead of Mikel logging in to the internet, I log in to another server, which is called VPN server, and the VPN server goes online. So then the internet only sees the VPN server instead of me. And what you mean with the country is I can also take a VPN server in, I don't know, Australia, and then the internet thinks that I'm in Australia. Which is good. Why? Because if a hacker has his eyes on you, you don't want him to know where you live, right? You want to sleep there. It's your place of zen. And if they know where you live, it's no bueno. And then also this generous VPN. If you guys don't have VPN yet, we have one older brother, and he founded Generous VPN. It's a free VPN. Free. It is pay what you want. So you can pay 0, you can pay 1, you can pay 10 euros or 100 euros. It doesn't matter. If you're still looking for a VPN, Generous VPN might be the way to go. Does it
have a website?
Sorry?
Does it have a website?
Does it have a website?
Yeah, the VPN.
GenerousVPN.com.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's it. Okay.
Yeah. I also it's in the resource label. Yeah.
Okay.
This is a picture for two-factor authentication. Anybody who does not know what is two-factor authentication? Nice, good. So when I have an account on Hotmail, for example, usually you log in with your username and your password. But sometimes, when you're, for example, doing something with the Dutch government, you also have such a thing called DigiD, which is like a digital ID. I think it's a total failure, but the essence of it is good. And a two-factor authentication is, for example, this is Google authentication. When I want to sign in, I use my username, my password, but then I also have to take my phone, and my phone displays codes, which for 10 seconds, for example, and I also have to put in this extra verification, which is called two-factor authentication. And what this means is that if a hacker wants to hack my account, not only do they need my username and my password, but they also need my physical phone, right? And what are the chances that they get my physical phone? Not very big, and even if they have it, they need the password for my phone. So it's just extra secure. And good security is your friend when you're investing. Because, and that's a bit harsh maybe, if somebody hacks you and they take your funds, because it is not centralized, it's gone. And you can't call the bank and ask for a refund. Gone is gone. It's your own responsibility. Cool. So now, nice. We know how to secure ourselves. We went online. We got the Generous VPN. We connected to the VPN service. I made an account at an exchange. I used two-factor authentication, and now I'm safe. I'm all good, ready to go. What should I do? Cool. Ready to invest. So you go to an exchange, I put some resource slides which will be there later. But you register there, you deposit euros or US dollars, whichever currency you want to use, and then with the currency you can buy cryptocurrencies on the exchange. Option 1. Then you have your cryptocurrencies on the exchange, which should be fine, but you guys are really skeptical about security now. So actually you want to protect your cryptocurrency even more, because maybe the exchange gets hacked, which can happen, then you lose your funds. So there's multiple ways to store your cryptocurrency. You don't have to be a miner, but you can leave them on the exchange. That is option 1. Option 2 is you can put them in your wallet, and what you see here is the Neon wallet, and the Neon wallet is, let's say, a program to communicate with the Neo blockchain, which is just like the Bitcoin blockchain, a blockchain. Ethereum is one blockchain, Bitcoin is one blockchain, Neo is one blockchain, and they run separately and have nothing to do with each other, except that they're all blockchains. So this guy here has quite a lot of Neo, looking like some good cash, nice. Too bad it's on testnet, so it's not real money. Too bad for you guys. But this is an interface to communicate with the blockchain. We call it a wallet. And if you want to use a wallet, you download the program on your computer. Over here, your public Neo address. When you download the wallet, there's an onboarding process, and during the onboard process, you're required to do a username, password, and then you are given a wallet. And a wallet is nothing more than a string of digits, and the way the string looks like depends on the blockchain. So apparently the Neo blockchain has addresses like this, but the Bitcoin ones might be different. This is your public address, and you also have a private key. And the private key, you should see maybe like a mailbox. When you're going to some apartments, then you always see the mailbox on the outside, and you can put in a letter, but on the back of the mailbox, somebody with a key can open it and extend it, right? And this is also what your wallet is. The public address, it's just for the outside world to know, if you want to send me money, this is the address. So here's where I live, so put in the letter, send the money to this address. Then with the private key, you can send money or take money from the wallet. Never, ever in your life give your private key to someone else. Because if you give your private key to someone else, they have access to your money, and probably you'll lose it all. Because I don't know why somebody would ask for your private key without actually wanting to steal money. So don't ever put your private key somewhere. Option 3, so 1 was leave it on the exchange, 2 is put it in a wallet, 3 is a paper wallet, but you can just forget about that one. It's a bit old-fashioned, I think. Option 4 is a hardware wallet, and I brought one with me today, so if you guys want to take a look, I'll put it over here. There, it's nice and shiny. I think there's $1 million on there, so you be careful. No, I'm just kidding, it's brand new. There's nothing on there.
You would say that. What's your private key?
But this device, it looks like a USB stick, and you can plug it into your computer. And what it does is it safely manages your private keys for you. So what this means is I put this on the computer, then I find some program to communicate with the blockchain, and that depends on which blockchain, what the communication software is. And then I have to put in the PIN on the device, otherwise it won't open. And if I open it with the PIN, then I authorize the device, and then this device can authorize transactions from my wallet. So it's secure. If somebody wants to hack you, they have to steal your ledger. If they stole the ledger somehow, they still need the PIN, which they shouldn't have, because you are not giving your PIN from your ledger to someone else. So a hardware wallet in the crypto industry is seen currently as like the holy grail for commercial investors like you and I, not for institutional investors, to safely store your cryptos. The downside is, if you really want to sell it quick for some reason, you have to take the device, send Bitcoin to the exchange, and send on and trade on the exchange, sell it on the exchange.
What if you lose the hardware?
Sorry?
What if you lose the hardware? You just like lose it somewhere.
What if you use?
Lose.
Lose?
Yeah.
Ah, yes. I'm sure. Now, so when configuring the device, there's some papers. Recovery sheet. This one.
I'll put it there, yeah.
Those sheets. And there's 24 blank fields here. And if you configure the device, then you are making the device, so to speak. And in the wallet, you're making a username and password and then you get your addresses. In the wallet, you connect it, and then with the program you say, I am making a new wallet. Then the wallet gives you 24 random words. Then you have to verify the words so that you're sure that you have the right words. And those 24 words are your access to your private key. So if you lose this hardware wallet, you can buy a new one. It's 55 bucks. It's okay. Unless you're investing with 50 euros, then there's nothing left. But then with those words, you can reinstall your previous device.
Okay.
Yeah. So the only, or the real security risk is if the papers fall in somebody's hands, you're done. Then they can just configure a device, steal your funds. So this is the liability of the private key of the hardware wallet. Cool. Then it is regulated, and it is starting to be regulated in an increasing, to an increasing extent. Which means if you make an account at an exchange, they are mandatory to do some, we call them AML KYC, so anti-money laundering policy and know your customer policy. For you guys, this means, or for me as well, it means for people in general, if you open an account in an exchange, they will ask you for your name, for your address, for your birth date, also for scans from your passport, and sometimes even utility bills or income statements. You have to go through this process. There is not really a way around. But also choose your exchange wisely. Don't go to some weird exchange on the Caribbean which is asking you for your passport, because those are sensitive data. So only use exchanges on, or only create accounts on big exchanges, major ones. And I'll provide a list a bit later. Because if you don't upload your passport, you're not allowed to make an account. It's mandatory for them. So don't think like, why are they asking this data? They must, but be careful on where you do it, because it's your personal data. Yes, those are the resources. I'll share them with you as well. And there's the CoinMarketCap again. A big question for people getting into the crypto space, wanting to invest, is where should I get my knowledge? I mean, there's like 4,000 coins out there. How, in the name of the Lord, should I know what coin to invest in? I'm just an average Joe. Well, number one, you can go to CoinMarketCap and just look at the market cap, because it says something, or it should say something about the legitimacy of the project. I mean, Ethereum is worth $200 billion, I think. Maybe it's not a scam, right? So first you look a bit there, okay, cool. Then you can click their website, read their blog posts, they have information on their website. And especially for cryptos, blogs and forums and meetups/events are a very good way to get your information. Seek if there are some meetups, or like we are broadcasting this, maybe there's people out there who are following this might be legitimate information for them. So do your research before you invest in the coin. Check their website, check their team, check the track record of the team, see if they have any social networks, social channels, and then see, especially if there's some forums or blogs, or no, not blogs, forums or groups, Telegram groups, WhatsApp groups, so you can actually communicate with people who are already invested in the company to get a sense of what is actually happening there. exchange-wise, safe ones for people in the Netherlands, or actually Europe. Coinbase is a very big one of the first ones. Binance, very big one, good one. Kraken as well, it's in the UK. And then there's Bitlex and Qcoin. If you're just looking to deposit euros or US dollars with Ideal or with your credit card, Coinbase, Binance, and Kraken, they're very easy. You can just stick your card in the machine and transfer some money there. They work very well, and they are legit. The hardware wallet, the Ledger that I showed you, I also put the link in here, ledger.com. And there's the generous VPN link. Are there any questions for this personal investment in cryptocurrency part of this workshop? Okay, cool. Yes?
How successful are you with investing?
Depends on what you call success. Depends on what you call success. So, what happened in my career as a crypto or blockchain investor is that somewhere in 2014, it's way back, I bought a bit of Bitcoin. Not even one. I think I had half a Bitcoin or something, because my brother told me to. The one from the VPN. He's a genius. So if he says, "Yo, Mikel, buy this," okay, take my money, and then I buy it. Back then, I think it was 200 euros. I was in Italy, but for me it was quite a lot of money then. Then I forgot that I had it actually for 1.5, maybe even 3 years. Then Ethereum did their ICO, their initial coin offering, and Mentor again said, "Yo, I'm transferring all my Bitcoin here to Ethereum." So then I said, "Okay, I'll do it as well." So then I transferred my Bitcoin there. Then nothing happened, and again I forgot about this, and then I think it's now 4 or 5 years ago, Ethereum went live. So I could access my coins. I hoped, but I forgot my password. So then I knew where the money was, on what wallet, on my wallet. I knew the public address for the wallet, so I could look at it, I could see the money, but I could not reach it because I forgot my password. Stupid. So a lesson for you guys: write down your passwords in safe space. So put them offline on a USB or something, or split them in half, give half to your mother, half to, I don't know, somebody else. So then this same brother, Mentor, I asked him, "Can we try to crack my password?" So he wrote a brute force script, which essentially just spams passwords the entire time. We tried over 5,500 passwords. It worked. Still could not access my funds. I was getting a bit sad then, of course, because I saw that it was rising, the money, but I couldn't reach it. And then at one day, Sunday, I tried one more password, and bam, it just worked. So then I could access my funds, which is very nice. And in percentage gains, so to speak, my portfolio went like this. Like I just already told you, I think what it was worth if I would have held all my coins and never sold anything, and then sold everything when it was at maximum value, that would be here. Then where I was with my portfolio, because as a somewhat good investor, so to speak, when the price went up, I started selling bits by bits. So it went somewhere up, then sell a bit, goes up more, sell a bit, goes up more, sell a bit, because you don't want to put all risk in one thing. So then at what it could have been at the top, I was maximum at 10% of this. And then after the hype, I lost 90% of that again. So that's where the big go down. But still, I keep my coins. So I didn't do too bad. I went to Australia. I visited my little brother there for a holiday. And I bought a motorcycle. And I still have some coins. I'm happy. And I won't tell you the exact numbers. Does it somehow satisfy your question a bit?
Well, first of all, I didn't expect that answer, but it does. And what I was just wondering is, I know that's not a question you can answer, but when do you Because like the other day I heard you should buy when it's obviously low. So like right now in a recession, it makes sense to buy stuff because the price, like also the stocks and everything, is very low, and the chances of at some point the economy recovering are there because that's like usually going in this direction. Maybe you could answer that, but would you recommend then buying in recessions and selling in times where the economy is booming?
Yeah.
On Bitcoin.
Excellent question. So the guy there in the back is asking when to get in and when to get out, essentially, right? So when should I buy? Maybe the price is low in a recession, so then I could buy, and then if the economy is booming, then I could sell again. Would be nice, right? I mean, if you could really time it in a way that you buy when the stock is low and sell when the stock is high, it's an excellent strategy. Buy low, sell high. I mean, yeah, cool. The problem is you don't know what the low is, and you don't know what the high is. That's why I also just when the stock is going up, it is normal for people to start taking money step by step because you don't know where the end is. And it also really depends on your time frame. So if you are looking to get into Bitcoin, for example, because you believe in it and you want to put $1,000 in there and see what it does in 10 years, because you think for some reason it will be worth 100,000 euros, I don't know, then it doesn't really matter if you buy the coin at 10,000 or at 9,000 or at 11,000, because you're in it for the long run. So if you're in it for the long run, then when to get in is just when you have the money to get in. It doesn't really matter when you get in and try to time the market. And again, also when to go out, it depends on your time frame. For cryptocurrencies and regular stocks, I don't know if they're correlated. Sometimes they are. So when we have a recession, maybe the price of Bitcoin will go up because people lost their faith in the government again, and cryptocurrency still didn't stick. It didn't feel the people, so to speak. So in a recession, if Bitcoin will go down or up, I don't know. Yeah, intellectual guessing. I mean, people have philosophies, and people have tactics, and people have trading bots, and there's many things going on. But the bottom line is, if you're in for a long run, just get in. And if you're trying to make trades because you want to buy at 10, sell at 20, buy at 10, sell at 20, okay. If you believe that the stock is cheap at 10, buy it. If you think it's much at 20, sell. But it's a risky strategy. And history proves that it doesn't work that well, that it works better just to start investing and wait it out. Cool. We formally have 2 minutes left. Do you have a question?
Yeah, but we have 2 minutes left, right? So you can continue the topic.
I was going to say we formally have 2 minutes left, but if you like, I can give you some more real-world examples. Aside from the financial part, so more use cases, what you also thought of. Or we could do a Q&A session if there is questions. I don't know what you prefer, and we can also just call it a day. I mean, 2 hours is 2 hours, right?
From the one with the space game.
Till the building closes.
And when does the
Nice.
building close?
Probably like 8, I think.
Alright.
Have you raised some hands?
Maybe one case and a couple of maybe 2-3 questions maximum.
Yep.
That's my preference.
So the crowdfunding actually we already did. That was a nice example. And what you see here is resource passport. So when you come to think of it, I am currently studying energy and environmental sciences for small context, so I enjoy thinking about this stuff. But does anyone have a clue what materials are in this building? Like construction materials? Probably some concrete and some steel and some iron, but you don't really know. And when they take the building down, it goes somewhere, but nobody tracks those resources, right? I mean, where's the iron going? Is it being recycled? Is it being landfilled? What's happening with the concrete? Maybe there's some rare metals here. What's happening with the glass? You don't know. And one nice use case for a blockchain is to build a resource passport, pretty much meaning for everything that's being built, like a building or a car or your smartphone, you make a digital passport, and in the passport you write down what resources are inside of the product, and also where they came from. So what you then essentially do is you build traceability of materials on the blockchain. We are all eating Tony's, right? Tony Chocolani chocolate, which is very nice, especially this one with sea salt. It's my personal favorite, so very nice. But Tony's mission was to abolish slavery from the chocolate industry, if I'm correct. And tracing where goods come from is a problem for some industries. We now know where the chocolate comes from, right? Probably from, I don't know, where? Somebody knows where the chocolate comes from? South America. South America. But maybe the beans come from somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe the workers are underpaid. I don't know. What you could do is you create a resource passport for this Tony's bar, which means that we start with the farmers taking the cacao beans, and if they have a shipment of beans, cacao beans, and they send it to the burners, they make a transaction on their blockchain. I'm sending the beans there, and everybody in the network, all the validators, they see, okay, so party A is sending the beans there, then they're being roasted, the roaster sends the beans somewhere else, we make the chocolate comes here to the Netherlands. In the shop, you scan the QR code on the Tony's bar, and you see the entire process, where the resources come from, maybe even how much the workers were paid, where they are from, etc., etc., etc. So traceability of goods is a very nice blockchain example. We can do it with chocolate, we can do it with brand clothes, how to verify if your Louis Vuitton bag is real, for example. The manufacturing company making the bags can give a unique tag. They can broadcast to the network, I built this bag with the tag ABC, and then if you buy it somewhere in Paris, you can scan the tag ABC and you can see that it's legit. And if some Turkish market has Louis Vuitton bags and they say, oh no, it's real, it's real, it's real, and you don't believe it, you can take the Louis Vuitton app, you can scan it, and you can see, brother, it's fake. Why are you lying to me? I assume for sure it's fake. I don't know.
Now you're talking about basically storing data, right? Is that way of storing it preferred in the sense of, does it take less storage from, let's say, a server or like a drive or something, that in comparison to the traditional way of storing this data?
Yeah. So just the blockchain decision path. Is there a need for a common database? If all the questions here answer yes, then we can use a blockchain. But because you all now know how the blockchain network works, it is very inefficient to store data on the blockchain, very inefficient. But we are talking about trust issues here, right? People are telling me that the chocolate is not made by slaves, but maybe it is, and there's no way to trace it. So when you cannot trust other people in the network, only then it might be beneficial to start building a blockchain together. Because the trust doesn't come from agreements with each other, the trust comes from the protocol, the proof of work protocol, which does not lie, right? But in many use cases, you don't need a blockchain. Not now, not ever. No. It's not a magical solution to everything, which is good. Three years ago, everybody thought that it was the magical solution to everything. With my partner Ulrich, we were at meetups, and then people would come and say, "Hey, we need to do a nice show. We need blockchain." Why do you need blockchain? Yeah, we just do it because everybody's talking about it. Do you know what he does? No, but we need it. We need it. Then what business are you? Yeah, I have a shop. I sell tennis rackets. What do you want to do? What do you want? And this is typical hype characteristics. People they hear it all around, so they think they must do something with it, or must learn from it and apply it. I mean, how many of you know what actually happens when you hit send in your WhatsApp? Like, really know what happens? Except for this guy, he's technical. Who cares what happens when they hit send? Only one.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Oh, no, I don't care.
No, nobody cares. Even the techie doesn't care. And why should you care, right? I mean, it works, and it's out there. But I'm not going to do anything with all those fancy internet protocols, and I don't know what happens there. And also for blockchain, it is not a technology which we will use in our daily life, communicating with the blockchain. In underlying databases and processes and organizations, there might be components of blockchain technology, like for example registering land ownership. Or what I would advise to a government is, for example, make a diploma database on blockchain. Because then, if you go and do a interview somewhere, you want to work somewhere, you say, yeah, I have this diploma, I have my bachelor here, master here, and I did something there. There is not really a way for them to verify unless they call the university, which they're not going to do. But if you can log this on, let's call it the Dutch or the diploma database, then everybody knows that I have the diploma. It's there. Nobody can take it away from me, right? But as a person, I'm still going to university. I'm just getting my degree, and then my degree is out there on the blockchain, but I'm not communicating with the blockchain. Right? Why would I? Cool. I'd like to end it here on my part. If there's any more questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Yes.
Is it possible to take a short position in Bitcoin?
Short position?
Yeah.
Yes. So for the people who don't know what a short position is, when you're going long, it's called, you buy a stock. I go long in Uber, for example, which means I buy one stock in Uber and I wait. What then happens is I give my money to somebody who wants to sell the stock. I take the stock is mine, and I wait. I go long. When you go short, you're essentially hoping that the stock will become worth less. So what I then do is I say, yo, Fran, you, give me your stock. Wait, I have to explain it correctly. If you're betting that it goes down, so what you hope is that you give me, Fran, give me your stock right now, and then I sell it, and then I sold the stock. But Fran still should receive the stock from you, right? Because I took it from him. So I owe him the stock. I borrowed it, I sold it, but I owe him the stock. And he's like, okay, yeah, Mikel has my stock. So then if the price goes down, maybe to $50, and then I rebuy the share, I give it back to Fran, then I have $50. And I make money. Because when the share went down, I made money. So when you're going long, you buy the stock, you hope the stock becomes worth more. And when you're going short, you borrow a stock, you sell it, you hope that the price goes down, you rebuy the stock and you keep the profit. Yes, you can go short in Bitcoin, yes. There are some exchanges where you can go short. I personally really hate shorting as a concept. Because what you're, and it's a bit of market power, so to speak. When many people want something to happen, it will happen, right? I mean, Tesla is not worth as much as it is now, but people want it to be worth much, and they believe in it, so they keep buying the stock, and the price goes up. Tesla's not worth this much money. If I have a company selling sunflowers, which is worth $1 million because they're beautiful sunflowers, and everybody starts shorting my stocks, then all of you would benefit from my company becoming worth less because you want the price to drop. And what happens if 10 people in the room want my company to become worth less? Probably it will become worth less, right? Because many people want it to happen, so maybe they'll start making phone calls to farmers like, yo, Mikel says their sunflowers are pretty, but actually they're really ugly, man. Nobody wants to buy them. So when people have a vested, when they want something to happen, it will probably happen at some point. This is why I principally don't like shorting, but you could short Bitcoin, yes. I don't know which exchange, maybe even on Binance. Anyone else? Final question. Check. Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you for that presentation. I know that you've been wanting one of these bars. I'll show the camera as well. Because we keep them in our fridge and we give them to partners and people who do stuff for us. And Mikel's been eyeing this bar for like 2 months.
We live in the same house.
We live in the same house. So you get 1 bar and 1 bottle of wine. Thank you so much for giving this presentation.
Thank you for hosting me.
Anytime. And for all of you, we will share a WhatsApp link with you for the people who are not in our group yet. And you can join our group. This is where we do most of our communication. We broadcast our events, our challenges, our content, all the things that we're releasing. Our Instagram has some issues right now, so unfortunately
Let's not talk about the Instagram.
you can't follow us there. So we'll send you the WhatsApp link and there you can follow us. And we've been doing a lot of financing things lately, but we also do a lot of very different things. We've got a cold challenge coming up, cold exposure. As I mentioned, we do yoga, mindfulness. So if this is not entirely your cup of tea, do come and join and visit us for some other events. Thank you for your attention, and we'll see you for the next workshop.
If, by the way, any of you still has some remaining questions, you can send me an email. I will respond.
What's your email? I'll send it into this chat quickly.
I will share the slides. Yeah. You will share the slides?
I will share the slides, yes. Good. Cool.
All right. Good.
Get it in. Yes, get it in.
If anyone has a snack box for the goal, just go ahead.